the webinar. All right, starting the webinar. All right, we're starting our webinar. We're going to let folks join in. Here they come. I love to see the numbers grow as our participants grow. So if you're here for the social media series, you are in the right place. So welcome everybody, and we do thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to give folks a few more minutes to log on. I get it, this is such a busy time for our families, getting home from work, school, sports, activities. Maybe you're getting dinner on the table, you're finishing up dinner, maybe you're making dinner while you're watching this. That may make me hungry because I haven't had dinner. We get it though, because it is such a busy time for our families. So again, this is the social media series. If you are here, you're in the right spot. And if you're not here for the right reason, stay tuned because you're going to learn something. That's our hope. So we're going to get started in just a minute. I'm going to give another minute and allow families to join in and log on. And just letting you know that this is a participatory event. We really, really hope that you can participate with us. We'll have some questions, we'll have some opportunities to think, and we'll give you pointers and things that you can talk about with your kids. If your kids are joining you, that's great too, because we'll have some kid voices, student voices a little bit later on, and they can hear maybe what some of the things that they're thinking too. So if your student is around, please invite them to join with you. All right, we're going to get started in just a minute. Let me just look at our numbers again. All right, great. All right, it's 5:32 and your time is valuable, so we're going to get started. Welcome everyone to Parent Academy. Parent Academy is a collaboration between the Clover Park School District and our community. And we do this to offer information, support, and resources to parents and families. The more you know, the better equipped you are to help your student. So as I mentioned tonight, this is our social media series. This is part 3, actually, in our social media series. But if you're just joining for the first time, no worries. If you missed the first 2, not a problem. Each is a standalone presentation. We record all of our webinars and post them on the school district YouTube channel. All you need to do is go to the school district website, put the Clover Park School District or Clover Park YouTube channel, click on playlists, choose Parent Academy, and you get to choose from a whole host of different topics, including our social media series. So again, we're very glad that you are here and investing your time with us, but we do need your help and we do need your input. You are going to be able to share it via the chat, or you can ask a question in our Q&A. Both of those features should be at the bottom of your screen. We do value your thoughts and opinions, and when you do share, it enriches our entire collective discussion. So tonight our topic is, who are you on social media? Our presenter again for tonight is Leanne Reagan. Leanne is in her 7th year of teaching PE at Rainier Elementary. She is also a principal intern getting her master's degree in educational leadership from WGU, which just goes to show that learning never stops. She is also the mom of 2 young children. I am going to be sharing the presentation for Leanne, so hopefully I won't mess that up. But I'm going to let Leanne introduce and say hello to everyone, and then I will get our presentation started.
Right. Thank you, Holly. All right. Hello, everybody. Again, my name is Leanne. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. This is the 3rd session. And again, Holly said it's called Who Are You on Social Media? I'm just going to fix it.
Can you see can you see the shared screen? Great. Okay. So let me know if I am too slow. Just tell me next slide, please. If I'm
all right
with you.
Okay, this workshop is brought to you by Common Sense Media, which is part of Common Sense, an independent nonprofit organization dedicated to improving the lives of kids and families by providing the trustworthy information, education, and independent voice they need to thrive in the 21st century. Next slide, please. Welcome to the workshop. Thank you again. We're really happy you're here. It's always so nice to see families involved. And please, like Holly said, participate in the chat if you can. These days, parents of teens aren't only coping with the age-old struggle of raising a sometimes sullen and striving to separate human. We're also managing their media and tech. As you know, it's not easy, so we're glad you're here tonight. This workshop is designed to help you understand the key media and tech issues teens are dealing with, give you some tools, and allow you to brainstorm around how you can help your kid, since you know them best in the context of your family's roles. Next slide, please. This session was designed to be in person and to turn and talk to somebody, to a partner, to have a circle group discussion. So this is why we're asking you to do that, to type in the chat. That is our way of turning and talking to a partner. Just looking at these questions, if anybody wants to answer one of the bullet points, that'd be great. Do you allow your kids to use social media? And on which platform? On which platforms? Do you use any of those platforms yourself? What rules do you have around social media? And what challenges have you faced when it comes to social media? This
all
is
really great questions and a lot to think about.
Yeah, the one that we talked a lot about, Holly, about last week was which platforms, how many platforms there are to communicate on social media, and they're so popular.
Right. And it's hard to stay up. I mean, they always seem to be updating, getting new ones all the time. It seems to me that people my age are still back in Facebook, but kids are on a whole host of other ones. And it was really interesting to hear from parents who said there's even gaming platforms. So not just Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, but there IM messaging, all kinds of things. And so as a parent, we're not asking you to be an expert on everything, but do, keep your ears open, listen and ask questions from your kids on what they use, and then ask them, hey, show me how to use that. That also puts them as the expert, and it allows you to learn rather than say, oh, I don't know, it's hard to keep up with kids. So.
And when you say kids, all ages,
right.
We talked about this last week, how I am an elementary PE teacher, so I'm seeing kids at a younger age having cell phones. I did not have a cell phone when I was a kid, so the younger, they're getting the social media at a younger age.
Right, and they're smartphones, because I don't even think you could, I don't even know if you could buy a flip phone anymore.
And it's not going to go away. This technology is only going to get better. So we're so glad you're here to find these skills. So
yes,
we're going to keep moving since nobody replied.
Yeah, and we still have families joining us. So I know we get that. That's just a really busy time right at 5:30. So again, if you're just joining us, great, jump right into the discussion. You don't have to be an expert on anything. We're just sharing opinions, thoughts, sharing information about your family. You can do it anonymously too. So if you want to jump in at any time to say which platforms you use, please do that. Or if you have any rules at your house around social media or any challenges too, that was also a great question. Please feel free, chat or Q&A, either one. But I will go on, and so we can get to the next thing.
I was going to say, great. Let's just go on to the next slide. So this is a great video. Let's hear from teens about their experiences. As you watch, it might be helpful to jot down some notes. And also, if you want in the chat, you can reply right in the chat anything that you're thinking during this too. So go ahead, Hallie, let's listen to this video of students.
I think that social media does make people more fake.
Who's happier? Who's richer? Who appears to be the best?
I would say that it's okay to post a version of themselves that's not 100% real.
Yeah, I post things I want other people to see.
I do think that social media has an effect on how people act in real life.
It carries a lot of weight.
I do not believe in filters, photoshopping, face tuning, none of that.
Yes, I think some people tend to obsess over their social media.
It kind of loses the meaning of what the intention of social media was, to like connect with other people.
I spend a lot of time being really careful about what I post on my main account, mostly because there's people that I don't know that well who are gonna see it. My spam account, however, is just a bunch of really terrible pictures of me.
It's okay to play a little game of pretend to, you know, show off, impress your friends.
I'm always thinking in my mind, like, for validation from other people. But at the same time, I know that none of that is really worth it in the end.
As I've grown as an individual, I don't see the likes as comments as anything important. I feel like they don't help verify me as an individual.
I started counting my likes on my post, and I realized soon enough that that was giving me anxiety. So I stopped doing that. But now I've learned to just post them just for my memories.
When I look back on like my social media page and kind of relive these memories.
I'm also wondering if people will like enjoy the content just as much as I do. When it comes to likes, I never really think about that stuff.
I don't think I feel pressured to post certain things. I feel the opposite. I feel pressured not to post certain things.
Sometimes I can be pressured to post certain things, but I try not to, because I like to be my own person. I don't like for people to tell me what to do.
I only post things that portray me as the young African-American scholar that I am. Even if that's not true all the time, that's the only thing I'm gonna post about.
They have one image of themselves, and it's not an entire picture of who they are as a person.
How I look and how I'm portrayed in society, I'm already expected to act a certain way, so when I put myself out on social media, I really have to watch how I carry myself.
With social media or with the internet, you're able to pick and choose what people see. And it has its pros and cons.
I'm an athlete and I'm going to attend college. With that in mind, I have to pay attention to scouts, I have to pay attention to other colleges and teachers and other opportunities that might be coming my way.
I would say that curating your social media can be positive.
People can see the very best life that you're living, and people can see you being happy all the time.
It kind of gives you the power to be who you want to be and only let people see what you want them to see. It can turn negative really fast.
If you are constantly displaying yourself as always happy, it can create a lot of anxiety and depression, just a lot of stress.
When I post something, I'm checking it very frequently to see how it's doing compared to my other pictures. If it's not getting as many likes as my other pictures, I might delete it.
We only see the greatest moments or the happiest moments of people, and we don't know what happens beyond those moments or what they've done to get to those moments.
I think if someone's posting like fake, like Photoshop photos or like something that's not actually them, I don't think that's okay.
Models online, like sometimes they tend to promote unhealthy beauty expectations for teenagers like us, because teenagers were just trying to fit in, and sometimes these beauty expectations, they do get to us.
There are definitely photos where I've like put filters on it or like edited in some way where I look skinnier or prettier or have less freckles or whatever it is.
My friends are obsessed. Oh, how do I look at that picture? Oh, my body looks weird in that picture. I shouldn't post it. I'm like, why does it matter?
There's these people who always look so perfect, and they always have the cutest lattes, and they're always traveling with the hot boyfriend, and that's all they ever post. You expect that to be your real life.
You have all these opportunities to tell people about who you are, and people tend to edit that because they want to be liked. I tend to edit that because I want to be liked.
I also definitely think it's possible to overthink it. If you just feel comfortable with yourself, I think it's okay to post what you want to post. Not only does it affect how we are online, but it also affects how we hold ourselves and our self-importance in real life.
That person who you see living that perfect life is kind of curating what they do. So they're not showing you all of them, so don't try to live up to that very small part of their life.
Oh my gosh, I listen to these kids and I'm just always so impressed with them because they, they're getting it. They, I think we think sometimes that like, oh, kids just don't know, but they know. But that pressure, that peer pressure, that's really impressive. I enjoyed listening to that.
Yeah,
Very smart
and
kids.
Also hearing that kind of breaks my heart because they are feeling those feelings at such a young age and worrying about those problems that should not.
They're
When
kids.
they shouldn't
They're
be
still young.
worrying about those problems.
Right.
Yes. So they're engraving this in their mind already at a young age, and that to me is what hurts me in my heart because I wouldn't want them. We want to teach them. This is why these sessions are so important. That's not reality. That is not who they are in reality. This is social media. So it's so important to have these discussions. So
when you say what did you hear? The words pressure, anxiety, stress. Oh my gosh, over and over. That was an interesting piece to hear that this thing that's supposed to bring you joy and connectivity and bring us closer sometimes does all these weird things to our heads and our minds of are we good enough, and giving us feelings of self-doubt. So we'd love to hear what anybody else has to say rather than just Leanne and Holly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you want to, if you can, please, what are some of the key topics in the video that you can relate to? We'd love for you to respond in the chat if you want to share what you heard, what you can relate to.
We'd love to hear that. And also when you're sharing, make sure you're sharing to everyone, and then we can see. Or if you have just something that you would like to ask one of us, you can do that through you could put in chat just the hosts or the panelists. I can't see the chat probably as easily as you can on your screen. Can you see it, Leanne, at the bottom of your screen?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. All right.
Good.
Great.
Well, I'll give an example, and then if nobody else shares, we'll just move on. But thing that made me think when I was in college was the pressure. I played soccer in college, but the pressure of posting if we won the next game, just the pressure of winning, and then it be posted on Facebook. And we always I was such a competitive person. It stressed me out when we lost because I knew once it's posted, everyone's going to open that up and then coming to me for the questions. So I feel that it's just in college level too. It doesn't matter the age difference. The stress level is just
is really high, and to take
yes,
that
it's
in
really
when
high. It's something
you're
I
already
still
trying
remember.
to compete at a high level anyway, and to do school and to do so many things, and to feel like when you lose, you've let someone down, and really, and
Thank you. That's what I was trying to go with. Yes, putting that. I didn't want to leave
unreal
anybody
expectations,
out.
right? That, and we even saw that. I'm just thinking back to the Olympics that just finished. The unreal expectations oftentimes for these athletes. I mean, they're competing on the world stage, and and as we saw, it doesn't always go like the hype that they had to live through. So imagine, kids just trying to be in a 13-year-old or trying to be a high school freshman and feeling like you have to live up to unreal expectations because what you see on social media looks perfect. And we don't always look perfect.
And actually someone just replied, so thank you. I'll read it if you want me to.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. Somebody said, I think a lot of kids hide behind their screen and say things they would not say in person. I agree with Leanne when you say a false sense of real life.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for that. Yes.
Yes.
A false sense of real life. It's not reality, and kids need to understand that. And that's why you have to have these tough discussions.
Right. I think one of the things that came up when we were talking about digital drama, one of the tips for families was, what would you say in real life if this person was sitting right in front of you? Rather than this escalating on the screen, what would you say in real life? And just like that comment, we hide behind it. It's easier when you don't have to see this person in real life. Then you can maybe say something a little snarky, whereas you may not, and probably would not, say that in real life. I do think it's human nature, though. I will say human nature. If we have two pictures of ourselves, to choose the one that's more flattering. I think that's human nature. We're all going to do that. But I did really appreciate one of the students said, well, I don't use filters. I don't, this is who I am. And that's hard sometimes to be able to, when you're growing up and growing into your body and growing into all these different things and things are changing. It's hard to maybe accept that new person that looks at you in the mirror because, you're going through so much change from middle school to high school that's a lot of time to grow into yourself and become who you are.
Definitely.
All right, I'm gonna
agree.
click.
Okay. Yep. I'm just gonna finish the one part. So social media can be complicated for all of us. So let's talk about some big picture best practices recommended by Common Sense Media that we can use when we talk to our kids about social media. So when they say big picture, we're giving you 4 best practice tips that you can talk to your kid to. So the first tip, number 1, you can read that. It's important to come from a place of empathy and not diminish the importance of your kids' experiences with social media. Do your best to relate to how complicated it can be. So tip number 1 is lead with empathy. You want to show you understand, validate, and don't diminish.
Yeah, and I love that when we can share sometimes from our own experience, right? To say, oh, I felt like that too, or I was a dork in junior high. I'm happy to bring out my dorky photos in junior high, and to say that we, that you do understand where they're coming from because you've been there too, and so helping to understand that and not diminish when we say, oh, well, back in my day, we made it through just fine without a cell phone, but this is their reality. This is where they're living now. So we don't want to diminish that because we probably couldn't make it through our day right now without a cell phone. I think we have another chat comment in our chat.
I put the tip in.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, thank
tip number
you were just on it.
Yeah. I know with me, I have 2 kids at home. One's a baby. You might even hear him kind of whining in the background. I apologize for that. The other one, he's 4, and showing you understand is so important to him too. That I carried that into elementary level, and students, they want to know that their voice is being heard. So showing them, telling them, I hear what you're saying, I can understand, showing that empathy goes a long way. You're building that trust, and your kid, I know my kid opens up to me more.
That's probably relationship 101. Don't we all want that? I mean,
yeah.
That our voice matters to someone that we're talking to. I think we all want that, right? They're no different whether they're 5, 4, 24. We all need that.
Okay, we can go to the next slide.
All right.
Awesome, you're there. So this is tip number 2, and I'm gonna put it in the chat too, so you can see that. There's a term that might be helpful for kids. Duck syndrome is all about the unfair comparison of an appearance to the more complex reality. So when you see a duck swimming, it looks calm and perfect on the surface, what you see on social media, but there's lots of effort underneath the water, all the editing and curation behind the scenes. In other words, we can't compare our insides to other people's outsides, especially when it comes to social media.
I remember hearing a piece of advice, and it was from an older woman, and she had, you know, to me, she had it all together, right? I had 3 little kids, and I did not by any stretch of the imagination have it together. And she seemed so calm, and she seemed like she just, you know, always was doing the right thing, and she always dressed well. And I think I had baby spit up on me or whatever it was. And she said, oh, never compare your ugly insides, because we know what's going on, the tape that is going on and playing in our head. Never compare your ugly insides to somebody's pretty outside. And so, and I think we all fall into that unfair comparison. I felt like I didn't have it together. I don't know what I looked like to anybody else, but I knew what I felt like inside, which was my ugly inside, right? I was a mess inside, and I'm comparing that to what somebody looks like on the outside. I can't hear the voices in her head, what's going on in her mind. And so I think we often do that, and it's such an unfair comparison.
Because what you saw was something put together on the outside. She had it all. She's living a happy, great life. Yeah. But in reality, she was struggling. And that makes me also think about how teens these days are finding they're going to social accounts on celebrities, their favorite singer, and they're seeing them go on tour and how exciting it is to be famous and a celebrity, and how fun it must be to go and travel. But inside, how are they really feeling inside? Are they really living that glamorous?
Oh, your audio just had a little snag. Are they, I think your words were, are they living that honest, real life all the time? Probably not. Maybe when they're on stage, they're living that perfect life as a celebrity. Oh, now you're back. You just had a little
Sorry
hiccup.
about that.
That's all right. That's what happens. See, we're not perfect either.
It says my connection is unstable. Am I okay now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I'm not sure how much you heard, but the celebrities are a huge influence on students.
Oh, yes.
And kids, and that you can't compare yourself with others.
Right.
Okay, let's go to the next tip. So next slide, please. Tip number 3, break it down. There used to be a commercial that asked, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Teens today could ask, how many selfies does it take to create the perfect Instagram post? So who curates really carefully? Who edits and filters? Who does it take? Is it worth it? Does it show their whole authentic self and complex life?
And the answer is, how could it possibly? Because it's a flat screen and a flat image. We are so much more than just an image, right? It's so much more than that. And so it can't possibly show our full selves. But I see that all the time. My husband and I were on vacation, and there's this beautiful beach scene. It was lovely, and we're taking it in, and it was sunshine, and it was lovely. And there at the beach, for hours at a time, was two women trying to get their best selfie picture. And I thought, you're missing the beach because you're so worried about the picture. And so rather than take back the memory, they took back some maybe pictures, but how many takes did that take to get that perfect picture?
Holly, I think about that all the time, how much time I missed out, wasted time taking pictures or getting the perfect video or the perfect picture of my two kids together, when I could have just put the phone down and not worried about it.
I was at a concert. It was the first concert I took to my daughter, and so I will admit it probably dates us both. It was Justin Bieber. He stopped the concert and he said, "Would you put your phone down and live the moment? Don't record it. Who's going to listen to this recording after? Live the moment. You're here." And I just thought, wow, what great advice. Live the moment. You're here, rather than I'm going to spend my whole concert experience holding my phone up and not living the moment. So what great advice. Take one picture, call it good. I was there. Yay. You don't have to record the whole concert.
It also makes me think of when you're out to dinner and you look around and how many people are on their phone rather than having a real conversation.
Right.
And
So
that's
true.
a conversation to have with your kid. Maybe set those boundaries. When we have dinner, we put our phone down. We want to have real life conversations. And that's a good time to have the conversations about these tips. Okay, so let's just go to the next one. Tip number 4, encourage connection over curation. So teens should absolutely think before they post. For safety, kindness, and their digital footprint, it's essential that kids post carefully, but a mindful approach is different from a calculating one. If a teen's focus becomes likes, follows, and positive comments, then social media becomes a means of validation, which often fails. Instead, encourage your kid to use social media to connect, be creative, and put positivity into the world, and spend time offline doing the same. This makes me think, instead of using social media to connect, be creative, this is the time where it's fun. I don't know if you've ever done hub art on YouTube.
Oh, no.
Following along with
a
artist.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow. How many of my students love that? And taking that time to say, hey, maybe instead of we do social media, we take 15 minutes and we do a YouTube video together, a fun art project.
That there is that thing though, and we've had it in our in our district, certainly, where there have been challenges, and there are always challenges on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook, and such. Some are really bad, right? What are they asking you to do? What and so that's not connectivity. That's like a truth or dare, but always the dare where you're going to do something stupid and get in trouble, right? And some have lasting or consequences that will, could get you kicked out of school or other things, or just the danger of it. There are other challenges, and this is a great conversation to have. There are other challenges like putting kindness into the world, paying it forward. There was a challenge about giving someone compliments. I'm like, what a great thing to put in the world. So those are great discussions to have with kids. What are they asking you to do? Why would you do that? What would happen if you got in trouble? What would happen if you got caught? What would happen if someone saw your phone? I mean,
and this is where also the bullying could come into, cyberbullying. If you post something and the validation, you're saying something and it might not be true, you could get yourself in trouble.
Correct. And I did love in the video listening to the students when they said, when I was concentrating on the likes, I found that I was anxious and I was stressed out. When I just let that go, how much better that felt.
And I think he also said he constantly was looking
Checking.
at that one post.
Yeah.
Yeah, checking.
Yeah. So again, it's not your job. Your job is to be a student. Your job is to be a citizen of the world, not to make sure that people like your content, and you're constantly focused on that and making sure that people like you.
All right, let's go to the next slide. So those
Okay.
are the 4 best practice tips. Again, this is a session that's supposed to be in person. So we are asking you, instead of writing it down, you can take your own notes, but if you could reply in the chat. So we're going to ask you, I think there are 4 questions. If you can reply in the chat, that'd be great. First question, and I actually am going to, I'll read the question, but I'm also going to put in the chat just in case you didn't hear me. Has your kid dealt with any of the thoughts or concerns of the teens in the video? If yes, which ones? So have any of your kids dealt with any of the feelings, situations that the teens in the video were experiencing or said?
While people are thinking of that and putting something in the chat, I had heard from a counselor, and I shared this at an earlier session about a lack of confidence in trying something new. Middle school is such a great time to try something new, right? Maybe you're taller than you were before. You might want to try basketball because you've never done it before. You were short before, but now you grew, or volleyball, or maybe you feel like running and try cross country or something. It's a wonderful opportunity to try and figure out for yourself who you want to be. But oftentimes kids are not doing that, not going out for sports, not trying, because what they see on social media is perfect. They see the kid that, well, they're great. We again never see the frantic duck feet paddling under the surface, or nor do we see the 212 shots it took before they could dunk the basketball. So again,
that just makes me think of, they make it look so easy. Why isn't it easy for me? And then the feelings of, I'm not good enough.
Yes.
Why can't I be like them?
Right. I can't try if I'm not going to be that good. There was a comment made about ice skating, and here one of the presenters said, "Oh, they make it look so easy." And then her reaction was, "Well, that's ice skating for you. If it's done right, it looks easy." But we all know, anyone who's ever tried it, it is not easy. It's only easy when you've put in hours and hours and decades of practice and time. But it really is still fun, even if you're not good at it. So having that, letting that go and not feeling we have to be perfect, because we can't be. We're never going to be perfect.
That's a great example. I have, as an adult, so I have to remind myself, it doesn't have to be, everything does not have to be perfect.
What is it that we say, that perfect is the enemy of the good, right? If you think everything has to be,
that.
Sometimes it just has to be good enough, right? Just got to be good enough.
All right, I'm gonna now ask the second question.
We have there was a tip or a comment that came. It says all of the tips are pertinent and helpful. I can also use these in my own use of social media. Isn't that so true? Especially the no comparison tip. Even as adults, it's so easy to fall into these habits and cycles. We all do that. That is so human nature. This just makes it sometimes worse. Rather than giving us calm, it amps it up. So I think that was a great comment.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. I absolutely agree with that. And even as adults, we need that reminder. It also makes me think, if you're having like a bad day and you were on social media, I feel like that it makes it even worse, because you're like, oh, I'm having a bad day. And so you're already feeling a little upset inside. And then you're looking at social media, look how happy these people are.
Because they're on
Look-
vacation and
yeah,
I'm
look
not.
what they did today. Exactly. Yes. So thank you for sharing. Number 2, the question was, what strategy, or more, if you have more than one, do you think might be most helpful for your kid? So the strategy meaning which tip?
Well, I will tell you, with my own child, having
Mhm.
to, it's that piece of the comparison piece, having to, you know, let's be real. Is that someone's real life? Do you think that's like do you think they really live that life? Do you think that's what it's like? Because again, what, someone else might think she lives that perfect life. I think it's all a perspective thing. That ugly inside of who we are and the thoughts in our head, comparing it to somebody's curated and pretty outside. Such an unfair to us.
Oh, we got a new message. Somebody said tip number 3 is their most helpful one. Discussions about how it can look perfect, but after how many takes?
Right.
Yeah, thank you. Holly hit that example of the ice skating. How many takes is it to make it look perfect? Oh, that also makes me think of my, there's this group of, they're just popular from being on YouTube, and they do bottle flips and these crazy, they throw them in all types of crazy directions or far distance, and you only see them do it one time. How many takes did that take for them to get that perfect shot? So seeing that they're not such all-stars that they can throw a water bottle.
Yes. Or the guy that gets
long.
the half court shot, the one
Yes,
time,
yep.
and, bounces off the
Backwards.
house and it, goes in the basket. I'm sure
Yep.
if we asked his mother, he has spent far many hours perfecting that shot than anything else. Probably certainly more than perfecting his homework. That's for sure.
And it also, how to look perfect and how many takes. There's apps now on phones where you can Photoshop your own photo. So you can just edit and take 15 minutes to edit just the way you want to look, right?
Right.
So it's
have more hair, less hair, a square jowl, face, an oval face, lots of Photoshop. And but the other piece of that is, having a discussion with your kids, especially about social media. What's fake news? It's not only fake pictures, what's fake news? How do you know? Just to let you know, Common Sense Media, which is the creator of this content that we're sharing with you through this session, also has some wonderful articles. So I'm going to put that in the chat. It's commonsensemedia.org. And there at the top of the screen, there's a category for parents, category for educators. When you click parents, there's also another ribbon at the top that says parents need to know. And so there's wonderful articles. There's articles about controls on PlayStation, controls on Xbox, parent controls on cell phones, how to set up your kid's cell phone, how to do all of these things. So if you feel like, gosh, I just am not good with technology, I don't even know what parent controls I would or should use, there's information through Common Sense Media, and it's all free and it's available to you. So please take a moment. I'm going to put that in the chat. Take a minute to look at that content, because you might be able to find the exact article you need for your situation.
Yeah, and especially take advantage of it. It's free.
Yes.
Anything free. While you're doing that, I'll ask one more question. And that is it. After that, Holly, that is going to be my last slide.
Great. Okay, here.
So
do you want me to go to, or you've got one more question and then we have another slide?
One more question, and the last slide is just a thank you.
Okay.
All right. What obstacles do you think you might run into, and how can you get past them? So what obstacles could you run into with your kid when you're talking about discussing these 4 tips, any of these 4 tips. You don't have to talk about them all. Is there one in particular that you think could be an obstacle that you could run into because you know your kid the best?
Besides the eye roll, like, oh, mom, you
Oh,
just don't
yes.
know anything.
I was just gonna say, just thinking about my son, break it down. He doesn't want to listen to me. He doesn't want me to get specific and really have that
Yeah.
tough discussion. So that might be an obstacle for me, is to really sit down and have that hard discussion. And this is why it's so good to even just have these Zoom sessions. Is for parents. It's because we need to know that this is happening.
Right.
We need to have these tough discussions.
Yeah. And sometimes finding that right moment to share or to
Right.
talk, when they're open to that.
Oh,
I always
boy.
say, I wish my children came home like a mood ring,
Mm.
and like whatever color they were, like, oh, I'm open to ideas now, mom. I'm green. But no, they don't. And sometimes, taking that temperature when they come home, to how was your day? How are you feeling? Is an important time, because you're more receptive. We all are. It is not just kids. We all are more receptive at certain times when we're not hungry, we're not thirsty.
I was gonna
we're
say,
not tired.
if I'm hungry, you're not gonna get yes.
Yep, exactly.
For mom,
so maybe
please.
with a snack, start the entree, this entree of conversation. And you know what? We also understand that you're going to get a little pushback that, mom, you don't get it. Everybody does it. I'm the only one. I mean, I think that was every child that's ever argued for a cell phone is probably the only child that doesn't have a cell phone, right? That's always the argument. I'm the only one. Everybody else, they'll think this of me. Again, you have years of experience. And letting them know it's okay, that they're not the only one, that they're gonna, survive. But don't diminish the importance of it, because it is real to them. All right. You still have that chance. I feel like I'm an auctioneer going. We've got a few minutes of our session left. I am gonna click on anything else that you wanted to add. This is I
was going to say, again, this was supposed to be a group participation. So thank you for those who shared in the chat. And again, like Holly said, this is from Common Sense Media. Really good resources. I really hope families take advantage of that link that you just put in the chat. And if you can't, I don't think if you just copy and then paste it into the website, it will work.
The other piece about Common Sense Media, and I can stop sharing and then I can probably put something live there. The other piece about Common Sense Media, it's about it. You can get choices and recommendations on movies and different grade levels, age levels. So it's not just all about social media. There's like books to recommend for your kids, movies to recommend, videos, apps, lots of information. So it's kind of a clearinghouse for a lot of great parent tools. And, social media technology keeps changing on us. So just when we think we got it, then they're going to come up with a new app. And so Common Sense Media is a great place to go for that information. So let me see if I can get the live link.
And it's for all ages too.
Yes, love that.
I love that too, that it adapts to, it can relate to all ages across elementary to high school.
Okay, let's see. I don't know if I'm in the one sharing, if I can do the live link. Let's see. Maybe I can. No.
If you want to try, you could email it to me and then I could.
Maybe I can. I'm just, just like all of you, I'm learning this as I go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here is it for parents. Okay. our Common Sense Media. Love this. Here we go. Let's put that in the chat for you. And that should take you there. And
yep, got it.
There's movies and TV. I'm looking now. Books, apps, and games. Parents need to know. There's articles. There's also a whole different group in Spanish too, which is lovely. So give it a go. Take a minute and go onto that wonderful resource for families. But I think that's all that, I mean, with all the information that we have to share, I would like to let you know that next week, we are going to be talking about who you're talking to online. This is really important about safety and privacy. Quick story that I want to share from our financial wellness event that we had last night. And this is, again, why it's so important about what kids share and whom they share with. The presenter was talking about scholarship applications. He was a judge for his credit union that were awarding scholarships. And one of the things that happened was they had these, wonderful applicants and they couldn't decide. And somebody went on their Facebook posts or or social media posts, and a few kids were dropped off of that consideration because of what was posted. And I know that now sometimes in job, I have a son who's in his 20s and he was in a job interview and they wanted to know what his social media was because they were going to check it out. And so I think we have to remind our kids that not only is the perfect picture, sometimes a waste of time, but being really mindful and careful of what they post on, because that can follow them. And we wouldn't want that to happen in a negative sense in any way, shape, or form. All right, so again, just a reminder of the date. So that is going to be next Wednesday night. I hope you can join us. If you have registered for one, you are automatically registered, I believe, for all of our in our series. So we hope to see you next week on who you're talking to online. Thank you to Leanne, our presenter, for the tonight and last week as well. And so we will be back with a new presenter on Wednesday, and we hope you can join us as well. Until then, we say take care, and I hope you're living your best life, whether it's on social media or not. All right. Good night, everyone.
Yep. Thank you. Good night.